Hi everyone, my name is Remeeza Khan, Assistant Professor of Department of Social Work, Christ College, Irinalakuda. Today I will be dealing about the first part of the foundation course, Gender, an introduction to gender and gender equality in the contemporary society. In that, the first topic is sex and gender. What is the difference between sex and gender, the types of gender, the important concepts which is related with gender, and that include gender needs, gender roles, gender stereotyping, gender discrimination, gender identity. So we will look into what is sex and gender. We know that we are very much familiar with these concepts, sex and gender, but people often use it interchangeably, but the thing is that these two concepts has different meanings. So we will look into what is sex. Sex is the physical or physiological differences between male and female. That includes the primary characteristics and secondary characteristics. In the primary characteristics, we can see or we can find the reproductive differences between male and female, and in the secondary characteristics it includes the height, muscularity, etc. So in simple words, we can say that sex is the biological aspects that includes the anatomy of an individual, which differentiates the chromosomes, hormones, etc. And we can say that we can just find two sex, that is male and female. And in simple words, or in other words, we can just simply say that sex is something which an individual get by birth. Next, I'll be dealing about gender. Gender refers to the socially constructed roles, behavior, attributes on the labels of masculinity and femininity. In simple words, it can say that gender is a social status associated with a person's sex. So I think now you understood what is the difference between sex and gender. Sex is something which is the physiological differences of a male and female, and gender is a social construction or the social aspects which is related with a male and female. Now I'll be dealing about the types of gender, which includes male, female, and a third gender. Third gender. Now we all are very much familiar with this term, that is third gender or the transgender community, or else we can say the transgender or the third genders as the LGBT. Or the transgenders fall under the category of LGBT, which includes the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and the transgenders. Next, I will be dealing about the concepts which is related with gender. In that, I'm going to discuss about what is gender role. So, gender roles in society means how an individual is expected to think, speak, groom in the society, and mostly we are doing like that. For example, if an individual is doing like that, he or she will be doing that because of the factor that he or she will be greatly influenced by his parents, the society, his friends, etc. Next concept which I am going to deal about is gender identity. Gender identity is the personal identification of a person regarding his gender and gender roles in society. For example, if a person is born as a male or female and soon after reaching a particular age, he or she realizes that no, I belong to another gender, then that sort of realization or that sort of self-awareness can be termed as gender identity. So, when we consider gender roles and gender identity, we can say that gender role is the expectation about how a person should behave or how a person should act in the society, whereas the gender identity is a self-identification of a person or the awareness of a person about his gender. Next concept is gender division of labor. Gender division of labor refers to the allocation of works differently to male and female. That is, in other words, we can say that the way work is divided among or work divided between men and women according to their gender can be said as the gender division of labor. For example, women are mostly confined to unpaid domestic work and unpaid food production, whereas men dominate in cash crop production and wage employment. So from this we can understand that men's role in society or men's hard work in society is considered as productive, and we consider it as very important, whereas we take the women's role or women's participation in this labor force as less important. Gender stereotype. In the present society, we are very much familiar with this concept, stereotype. The gender stereotype is a generalized view or preconception about the attributes, characteristics that are ought to be performed or possessed by male or female in the society. So, when this breaks the capacity or capabilities of an individual, it is really harmful. For example, the female stereotypic role is to have children, to look after the family. She should be loving, caring, she can cry or anything like that. Whereas the male stereotypic role is to be financial provider, he should be competitive, he should not show his emotions, etc. So when we consider anything, we can see this stereotypic attitudes among the people everywhere. For example, if a guy says that pink is his favorite color, suddenly his friends or his groups ask him that, are you a girl? At the same time, if a girl says that I love bikes, his friends or his family thinks that why she is behaving like a boy. So everything comes under the category of this stereotype, and we should remind one thing, that we should avoid this kind of stereotypic attitudes. Next topic which I am going to deal about is gender discrimination. Gender discrimination describes the situation in which people are treated differently because he or she is a male or female. When they are being discriminated, their skills or their capacities, capabilities are not being considered, and it can hinder their positive development. Then we discussed about the types of gender, which includes male, female, transgender, the transgender which fall in the category of LGBT, that is lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender. Then the gender roles, gender identity. Gender roles is something which is the expectation about an individual, how he should behave in the society. And identification or gender identity is the self-identification of a person about his roles in the society, about his gender in the society. Then what I have discussed is the gender stereotypes, that is the over generalizations or the prejudices of society about gender, gender stereotype, gender division of labor, gender discrimination, everything. So these are some contents which is related with gender, and we all know that the gender atrocities or the gender based atrocities are increasing. We should keep in mind that every individual is unique, and it's our duty to respect the individual as how they are. It's us who can make changes in the society or make changes in the minds of the people. So be the change agents of the society. I hope you really got a brief idea about the topics which I have discussed. We'll discuss more in detail in the upcoming classes. Thank you.